Hi, Andy here from DIY Bands. I was just working on one of my songs for my band, and I thought I might as well make a little video of it. I'm going to show you how I work on the snare drum, in the bid to get it, fatter, fuller, and make it proper stand there, like on its own, really, but still within the whole kit. We're going to do that starting off by using a compressor and an equalizer. If you're lacking a drummer, stay tuned at the end of this video where I'll show you where to get great recordings. Right, as you can see, I have recorded overhead right, overhead left, kick and snare, and we want this snare to stand out. Now what really we're going to be doing is this is the waveform here of the snare, and this is the hit. This is where it gets hit by the drummer, right, roughly like there, and then the rest of it is the rest of the tone. There's a lot of tone in there, but you can miss it. Naturally it will just be quite dead, like just a snap. And if that's what you're going for, that's what you're going for. But if you want a fuller snare, you should use this technique. And this is it with it. This is the whole thing really, with no editing at all. So nothing substantial, is it really? Let's listen to the snare on its own. There'll be a lot of bleed. Yeah, nothing really going on in there. Oh, how very unprofessional of me. I had a phone call whilst recording. So, where did I get to? What we're going to be doing, this is the waveform. We're going to be cutting off this peak here. And then we're going to be turning the whole volume up. So, the relationship to the peak and the tail they'll be closer together, and with that you'll get a fuller sounding snare. So the first thing that I always go for is a compressor. Because what does a compressor do? It cuts peaks down and allows you to turn the rest up. Exactly what we're looking for. Now you can use any compressor that you want. I'm just going ahead and using this one here because it gives me a nice visual of what I want to be doing. Ratio, I like to stick in with 3:1 ratio. And what I'll be doing is taking this threshold down, and we want to get somewhere between -3 and -6. So we'll play it through and aim for a -3, -6 reduction. Yeah, we're hitting a nice almost 5 every time, so that's good. What we'll be doing now is we want to turn the attack right down, because with the attack we want it to happen as soon as it hears that sound. Anything above that threshold we want to turn down straight away. And then this is keeping it for 100 milliseconds, which is not very long at all. The longer you have it, the longer it will have all the rest of this turned down. So 100 is pretty good. Depends how fast your song is. If you're like blast beating, you're gonna have to have actually probably be wise to turn it up if you're blast beating, and then anything in between. But anyway, we're not blast beating. We've got a punky song, so we'll be turning it down there. And what we're going to do now is, because we've just turned this attack down, we want to be checking this because it can go further, and we don't want it to be going over -6. Now we're at pretty much 4.9. -5, we'll see if it's still around that area. So we've gone up, so what we're going to do is we want to compensate. Right, that's cool. So did you see it did go like -6.1. We don't really want that, especially with so much background noise, so much bleed, because the more you turn it down, and then when you turn it back up, you'll be turning a lot of that back up as well. And we're trying to just get as much snare as we can without turning everything else up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use makeup gain. We've turned it down by, well, it's average 5.5. We're going to turn that back up, so it's going to be the same volume. And then what I'll do is I'll bypass it so you can tell the difference. The whole track will be louder, but you want to be listening to how the length of the snare really, as opposed to just the snap of the snare. So this is with it, just with the makeup gain. Bypass. It sounds a lot more prominent. Yeah, the rest of it's all being turned up as well, but the snares is a hell of a lot more prominent. So that's that for a compressor. As I said, you can use any compressor. Now this one I'm going to go for the same company for the EQs. I like this one. You can add as many bands as you like. I think I know I'll need at least one more. So where do I like to start here with the EQ? Here what we'll be doing is we'll be taking out a lot of the low signals that we don't need, because we've got a lot of bleed in there. That will cut out a lot of this of the kick. But what we don't want to be doing is changing any of the snare tones. So let's press play and we'll listen to where the snare changes sound. Oh, there. Oh, there even. Yeah, I think any higher that starts to change then. Any higher that starts to change, so we don't want to do that. So we'll take out that, and what we will do though is add a lot of around 200 to 300 is where a lot of the body of the snare sits. So let's tighten that up a little bit, shall we, and fish around for some decent tones in there to make it sound fuller. Yeah, I'm good with that. Now there is a ringing. Now I know my drummer and I know his snare quite well. So every song, his frequency is always, well, it's always around the 400 mark. Um, it's I hate it, but it will always be around here. So we'll fish for it, and you'll be able to hear it, and we'll cut it out. There it is. Oh, right there. So did you? Yeah. So before and after, we'll take this. More of a cleaner snare. Now I don't like to add too much mid, really. I don't really mess around with the mid at all on the snare. What I do is somewhere between 7 and 8,000 to add that snap. Because we'll take some of the highs out, but we'll add a lot of snap and crack back in. It's around 7,500 to 8,000. We'll have a listen. We'll fish for that now. That sounds good. Just a little boost. Okay, so what we'll do now is I'll just bypass with both of these, and as a combination, you listen to the difference here. concentrate on the snare. It's very, very dead and dull and not really. It's just a hit and stop when they're disabled. But as a combination, these two, a compressor followed with an EQ on a snare drum, is just brings so much life into it. So what I'll do is I'll just play it with these overheads as well and see how it sits in. That's it. There's a lot of work in progress still, but that's where I go to get a fuller, fatter, better sounding snare from your recordings. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you've learned something. If you have any issues with that, or you need any advice, just comment on there and I will get back to you with my best and my bestest possible answer. Thank you and see you in the next one. If you don't have a drummer or any way to record drums, try AIDrums.com. Recording drums can be difficult, but AIDrums.com will make the process easy, and for a fraction of the cost of paying a recording studio. Record yourself playing drums with your phone or a cheap mic and send it in for processing. AI Drums will convert this into a legit drum track using special pulse detection techniques. Using discount code ANDY, get your hands on great professionally recorded drums converted from your rough recordings at 15% off.